Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. No sunshine outside for most people today, but we're still going to make the most of it, right? On a Saturday here, when it's raining outside means you're relegated to indoors and you got to figure some stuff out that you probably put off for a while. So we're glad that you've added us here, and you're here with us here on this rainy Saturday morning. Maybe Luke will join us, Randy. I didn't think internet went out in Mountain Brook. I'm shocked.
Well, if it can happen in Mountain Brook, it can happen anywhere. We'll say that. But great to be here, Brett. Luckily, several parts of the state have been clear enough to get some good high school sports in, namely the Huntsville area, where you and I have been bombarded with updates over the last 3 or 4 days coming in from the soccer championships going on up there. And it's been a little while since we went up to cover a soccer championship, Brett.
Blew a tire on the side of the road.
Yeah, broke down on the side of the road, and it was a story to remember, to say the least. But
probably that beautiful been back.
A beautiful venue and a great setup up there in Huntsville to host this, and it feels like it goes off without any issue year in and year out, doesn't it?
It does. Just kind of like the track and field championships in Gulf Shores. There's a lot of communities that have anchored in some of these championship events, and it just kind of rotates through. I mean, I know it goes through a bid process every so many years, but Huntsville's been having the soccer championships for a while, and I don't know that it'll change. I mean, it's a great facility that that is able to house a tournament that size for all these different classifications. So, yeah, they do a really, really good job up there. And in baseball, the Oxford area has really, and Jacksonville State have really kind of cornered that market for baseball and softball. So, down in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach a couple of weeks ago, and, talking to both of those teams, and Orange Beach going for their 5th consecutive state championship, and, talking to some of the parents, and they've got a little mottos like, we don't lose in Oxford. Well, they haven't very, very much for sure with that program. But anyway, yeah. And then speaking of baseball, the semifinals this week, and there's still a couple of games that need to be played in 5A, one in 5A and one in 7A. But then that's it. Then that championship will be set, and we'll go through those here in just a minute too.
Yeah, we'll start with the soccer, Brett, and I'll start locally here close to us. Lee Scott, first year of being in the HSA, their girls get through. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read how that match ended up, Brett, but really great video and photo that came across on the HSA outlets yesterday as they end up in a shootout to determine the champion, and 2 goalies meet at midfield and pray with each other before they have to go back to their respective sides to try to do what all of us probably deem as something that we don't necessarily wish our kid to be in that situation, and that is to be the goalie in a shootout in a state championship. But 2 very classy programs, Brett, and I'll let you speak to that, to win a really tight position, to come to midfield as competitors with one another, and to pray with each other for what's about to come was saying a lot. And Lee Scott ends up winning that thing in the shootout, I think 3-1, and they pick up their first AHSA state championship on the girls' side. But just a positive note to go along with a lot of positive that goes on in these championship events.
Well, we don't talk a lot about sportsmanship and things, and the HSA prides itself and always has on preaching sportsmanship and how important it is, and they're serious about that with fines and things that are levied from time to time when frankly people don't act the way they should, whether it be adults or kids or whatever. It's a tough situation to be in. That's why you compete, though. When you compete, there's a good chance that you're going to lose. It doesn't matter, no matter what sport you're in. It doesn't matter how many games you won in the past. It's all great when you win, but man, when you lose, it sucks, man. If you're a competitor, you don't ever want to lose. And when you come down, it's a lot of pressure on a kid. Let's just be honest, when it's really one-on-one, but it's a lot of pressure on the person making the kick too. If it's down to that last person that's lined up to kick and the goalie makes the stop, then they've got to live with, what if I'd have kicked it to the right or the left or high or low or whatever. So, yeah, look, it's part of competitions. Being at the free throw line with a game on the line, it's having the ball in your hand when, with time running out. It's, you can go through all these different scenarios, but it's refreshing in this world to think, because we live in a world where there's a lot of taunting and a lot of finger pointing and a lot of, showboatmanship type deal where you kind of get a little bit discouraged. But you see kids that they're saying, look, let's get to midfield and let's pray together and let's see what happens. And so that's great. But I'll go another route and say that Lee Scott being over in AHSA, it's not taking them long to really perform well in multiple sports. We saw them. They kind of tailed off in football a little bit this year. Got off to a good start, but kind of tailed off. But for their first year in HSA competition there, and then of course baseball and softball and of course soccer, they fit in well. So is Glenwood. I know we'll talk about them in baseball here in just a little bit. There's a lot of these teams came over for a reason. It's not a shot against AISA, but they made the move because they wanted to compete at a higher level and play, tougher competition. That's really the reality of it.
Well, I think a lot of times all the conversation goes towards football. But when you look at a lot of these private schools, yes, they're very successful in football too, but these other sports, Brett, and they want to put their kids in a position where they've really got to strive for something to be able to win championships. And that is what the HSA brings, man. I don't care how much you point to, but the competitive balance that goes on, I noticed that especially here in soccer. So Auburn High School, who is 2,400 students in the top three. I think it was the second round of the soccer playoffs. They had Montgomery Academy over here, in the boys and the girls, playing them with a chance to move into the semifinals for the soccer. Well, you and I know the difference in those enrollments are drastic. But Montgomery Academy, if you left them down in 1A, 2A, 3A, Brett, they'd run through it like tennis. Our good friend Rick Cleveland was down at UMS Wright, and I don't know how many state championships they've won down there in tennis, but it's a whole bunch of them. And I'm not saying you wouldn't want to stay there where your enrollment leads, but at a certain point when you're Bayside and volleyball and you've won 22 straight state championships, let's see if you can beat Mountain Brook. Let's see if you can beat McGill-Tulane, Spanish Fort. And they have been able to, but it's been better by them having to stick to that competitive balance. So I appreciate that rule, Brett. I think it helps. Montgomery Academy moved on to the state championship on the boys' side. In soccer, even up 2 or 3 classifications from where they are from an enrollment standpoint. Same as Bayside's done in volleyball, where they've won a state championship all the way up in 6A when they're really a 3A school. So I like that they do that. And overall, it's just made, look, some public schools may have a problem with it, but for the most part, it's made the product as a whole better here in the state of Alabama and the competition level better here in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I think it's opposite of that. I think there's some private schools that have a problem with it. I think there's some private schools that feel like, why should I have to move up?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm winning down here and this is where my class, I'm already doing the multiplier and, playing maybe up in a class because we're a private school, and then we get competitive balance added to us if we're successful a couple of times. So there's no perfect system. I mean, there's not. We talk about this when we talk about the classifications in high school football in the regions. Should there be more 7A teams? We've had this discussion 1,800 times, and there's no perfect scenario out there. And, a lot of it has to do with geography and, travel and, proximity and all that kind of stuff. So they do the best they can with what they have. And at the end of the day, it's not like they've got a dog in the fight. They're not trying to make it unfair for anybody. They're trying to make it as fair for everybody across the board. Now, again, in lies the conversation of do you want to allow during the regular season teams just to play whoever they want to play, like we've seen, but when it comes down to playoffs, split the divisions and have a private school division playoff and have a public school division playoff. Now, that's not Brett coming up with that. That's a lot of people that I've heard, I'm sure you have too, say that in traveling around and talking to people. So I don't know. Is that something they try to attempt here in the next several years? I don't know.
How long do I have, Brett?
You got about a minute.
I think that gives me plenty of time here. The competitive balance makes it where that discussion's not had over and over and over again.
Right.
Because, and I see it firsthand. My daughter travels the state with travel soccer, and we play a team out of Montgomery that's the Montgomery Academy feeder program with travel soccer. And, Brett, they're so good. Like, we've beaten them a couple of times, but they've beaten us way more than we've beaten them. And I've told my wife, I'm like, you do realize that if they didn't have competitive balance, that group of girls that we're already starting to play would just be running roughshod through 3A for the next however long they had a chance to go and win it. That's how, you can tell at 9 or 10 years old how talented certain groups are, and if they play together as much as a lot of these groups do. But let's be honest, they're pulling from a very large pool of girls to put that team together at a school that most of us would like our kids to go to. A wonderful academic school. So the ability for them to go out there and to talk somebody into being a part of that system is pretty easy, Brett. And so I think the competitive balance is not probably for everybody the perfect setup, but I think it makes it a setup where as Bayside wins their 30th in a row, if they were sitting down there in 3A, you're not going to have to fight that battle year in and year out.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk a little bit more about that. We got to get to our first break. But, yeah, we're just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Of course, we'll stay up on social media, so stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Everyone to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Just really getting started here on a Saturday morning. We appreciate you tuning us in wherever it is that you're tuning us in, whether it be TV or social media. You can comment away throughout the program there if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube. We appreciate that. A little side note there, if you haven't subscribed, if you're an Auburn fan, you don't have to be an Auburn fan, you can be any fan, but subscribe to our YouTube channel out there. If you haven't found us out in the YouTube world, things grown tremendously, and I know a lot of you tune us in. We run this program on our Auburn Blitz YouTube page as well, so make sure you go out there and find us and subscribe if you have not done that. We appreciate that very, very much.
I'll say this. Let me jump in on that real quick. Yes, it's Auburn-centric, but the same as you going on Gary Harris's show every week and some Alabama talk ending up on our Auburn Blitz program. I mean, we try to, give a differing view throughout the year on what's going on with opposition. So, tune in to us. That's been the beauty of Sports Blitz over the years. It hasn't been skewed to one or the other, but as Luke has continued to grow his podcast there on Locked On Bama, and we continue to grow Auburn Blitz, it gets a little bit centric, but we do work together a lot. And I guess Brett being on Gary's show every week is a little bit more of a consistent than we do. And hopefully we'll be able to start sharing those, because some of the conversations we end up having on this show is ones that you and Gary have on his show up in Tuscaloosa.
Right. And glad that we can cross over like that sometimes and talk about things that kind of affect all of us. All right, let's go to the recap of soccer. And in 1A through 3A girls, like you just said, Lee Scott won that 3-2, won the shootout 3-1 for that championship. And then girls 5A, it was Westminster Christian knocking off St. Michael Catholic. Now, again, St. Michael Catholic is another school down there in the Mobile area that, I had a chance to go and visit back in the fall with football with Phillip Rivers and his son Gunnar Rivers. But that's a fairly new school that, people just need to get ready to start hearing their name in a lot of sports too. Again, you can say what you want to say, but they're going to be they're going to be in the hunt because they can go out and the facilities are great and they can go out and get who they want. Simple as that. It's really how that works. All right, the 5A boys championship. Do we know how that one played out? I'm showing that it was supposed to be played yesterday at 2. Do we have?
Yeah. We're through 1A through 5A.
Right. Okay. It was Guntersville and Indian Springs, and
Guntersville won that championship. AJ Shoemate, who is the leading scorer in state history now, took over that. Actually, has been broken a couple of times this year, but they
won that match 2-0.
Yeah, a young man that you and I covered for a long time at Benjamin Russell and Cole Grogan held that scoring record for the state, but it's actually been broken a couple of different times this year. But Shoemate for Guntersville now holds that, Brett, and he was the MVP of the tournament there for Guntersville, and had a great semifinal and final. So you always like to see players that are thought to be one of the best that's ever come out of the state.
212 career goals.
Yeah, one of the best that's ever played here in the state to finish it up with a great Final Four and lead his team to a championship. So congratulations to that community. That's a great athletic community in Guntersville, Brett.
No, it is. Absolutely. In girls 4A, it was St. John Paul Catholic knocking off St. Luke. So, again, more private schools, 3-1 in that matchup. In the 4A boys, it was Westminster Oak Mountain over Aniana 6-0. So again, like we said, more of the same. All right, Saturday slate. If the weather is good, you're gonna have Mountain Brook and Briarwood Christian there in the 6A girls, and the 6A boys matchup will be Southside versus Spanish Fort. So two really good matchups there in 6A.
Yeah, we'll start. First off, you hear Luke Robinson having to get off at least every other Saturday with us to head to a soccer match. Well, his daughter, who's going to end up being a great athlete, already is, will be leading into that Mountain Brook program. So if you're a part of a program that keeps on getting there, and I remember having this talk with Luke last year with Mountain Brook in that championship game, I said it's got to make you feel good that you're not getting up on a Saturday morning going and chasing that round ball all over the place to wonder whether it was going to lead to anything. Looks like it is going to lead. So congratulations. That's a Briarwood program that Brett, that was the first really, really massive girls program here in the state, if you remember. They won umpteen state championships and led teams nationally ranked with that Briarwood program back in the mid-2000s. That had some of the top players we've ever had to come out of the state. And so two really good teams and very good programs that expect to be there. And then moving into 7A, you get a lot of the same. I'll start with one that I'll lead you into. That's Oak Mountain, my friend. They're 29-0 on the season. They've won 47 consecutive matches coming into this championship game, Brett. You know how next to impossible that is? I mean, that's nearing Sammy Dunn level of craziness. And I bring Sammy Dunn up because that's talk that Brett and I have all the time. The idea that Vestavia won 9 state championships in a row in an era where they didn't have best 2 out of 3 series means that the first 3 rounds back then, they couldn't have a slip up. They could not have a guy go out there and give up a 5-run inning and hold on. I mean, you
for 9 years.
For 9 years and 47 consecutive soccer matches. Do you know how much better you really have to be than the opposition to win that many? Because these matches, they can when they're 1-0 or 2-1, one slip up defensively, and that 47 game streak's gone. But Oak Mountain,
and that's so easy to do in sports on any given day. You can be really dominant, but you can just have one off afternoon and it's over. I mean, that streak. I mean, so it's crazy to see.
And it's not like playing where Oak Mountain plays that they're not playing week in and week out the best teams opposition wise they can have to go up against. So congratulations to that school. So Oak Mountain playing for another state title.
against Montgomery Academy. Yeah.
Well, there was the talk we had in the opening segment. That's
Right.
a 3A school playing in 7A. and they need to be there. Otherwise, they'd be running roughshod through 3A.
Right. You know, but on the flip side of that, I guess Montgomery Academy's thinking, you know, we would have a for sure state championship in our cabinet. And I'm just saying that because I've had coaches tell me that. It's not me saying that. I don't have a dog in the fight. I have coaches going, you know, I get it. I know why we're doing it, but, you know, it's also a little unfair that this is where we are and we can't help that we're dominant. And now we got to go up and play somebody else that's dominant. And, you know, we're at a disadvantage. Now, I get it. You know, we can sit here and spin this all types of different ways. But bottom line is you got to have two really good programs.
Well, I'll tell you how good Montgomery Academy is.
Let me get to break because we're a couple minutes over, and then we'll come back. We'll keep it going. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here in hour number one, recapping a little bit of the high school soccer and baseball championships that are going on and the semifinal matchups in baseball as we come to an end of another school year, which is crazy. Got graduations coming up in a couple of weeks, and so we'll be looking at that, and we'll be looking at football season starting back pretty soon. But, I want to go back to the talk of people moving around and why things are structured the way they're structured in high school athletics is because you said it just a minute ago, talking about being a transient society and people putting a lot of money and time into travel programs and things like that. Well, kids now play sports with each other from multiple schools. And so they team up and then they grow up playing together and then they end up finding their way to a high school program and playing together there at the school level. That's kind of how this starts. And so you can say there's some recruiting going on or whatever, but at the end of the day, it boils down to coach and program and opportunity and facilities that give the student athletes the best opportunity. And look, we said this years ago, okay? I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. And we've been saying it for a long time on this show. You can sit back and be status quo, or you can decide that it's important to you and your community to play the arms race. And when you say the arms race, improve, show the world, not just, the state, but show the world that education and what the opportunities for our kids, how important it is. And that, we're going to go out and try to get the best and give those opportunities to our kids in this area. And so if you're ex-student sitting in whatever community, and I'm just saying you got antiquated stuff and, parents start talking, going, look, this is not going to give my child the best chance to go to the next level if they feel like they have a chance. So not saying they do. Not saying
a lot of them do though in this state, Brett.
A lot of them do. But my point is we said this years ago, you're either moving forward or you're going backwards. I mean, there is really no stagnation. I mean, there's a perception out there. Is that community and that school system moving forward, or are they moving backwards? And so I can go down the list. We just ran off Gunnersville. They just built a new school. If you've ever been to Gunnersville before, you know what kind of community they have. And they said, look, we want to be the best at it, as much stuff as we can be the best at.
And they are.
And they are. And so, I mean, that's why I have a little bit of pride in what we're doing here in Allen City right now. Mm-hmm. And look, a school building is a school building. People have heard me say that a million times, but the good leadership we have in place and the things that we have. And if you've been on that hill at all this week, and you've watched practice, I mean, it is amazing to see the energy level. This is no shot on anybody in the past. It's just amazing to watch Kurt Johnson and this staff and these kids, practice every day and what they're going through and the buy-in and the organization and the flow of how the practice runs and stuff, man. It's not hard to see that when you got 20 former players showing up to watch you practice. I'm not talking about former Ben Russell guys, former players that have played for him coming to Benjamin Russell practices now, interacting with our kids. And it's just the day and age of where we are. And then you look up and you got, and I know we've got Sedarian Morgan out there, but we got a lot more talent on that field than just Sedarian, that they're underclassmen that are going to be getting looks and offers. They've already started getting offers this week from colleges. It's just such a different vibe, man. And you're either in the game as far as the vibe and the want and to move forward, or you're not, man. It's real simple. It's real simple.
Well, and if you sit back as leadership or as community members and you witness programs that aren't sitting up to a standard that you're seeing elsewhere, and you make it out to be that it's okay, we just can't here, that's not who we are, then you're going to keep getting the product that you deserve. So, and I'll give you another one that has really impressed me over the years, Brett, because it is every sport Scottsboro.
Oh,
is
yeah.
competing for championships. It's unbelievable in girls and boys athletics. It's not just football. I mean, I think their girls and boys won maybe, I'd have to pull it up, but I want to say they've won 7 or 8 state championships in track and field, and that's indoor and outdoor, Brett, in the last 10 years in their classification. You know how impressive that is?
Very.
Because they're competing against private schools in that classification they're in. Some great private schools too. But they get through. So yeah, I mean, it's the same programs that we talk about a lot, but that's one that maybe I didn't know 20 years ago was as well run as it is, but Scottsboro is one that is very impressive. And then moving into 7A today, we just talked about Montgomery Academy, and then on the girls' side, Auburn High. Who are they playing there in the 7A championship?
Let me pull that up real quick. In 7A girls,
it's Vestavia. Now that I say it, yeah,
Vestavia. Yep.
Yep. 2 great girls programs in every sport too. It's not when you watch Vestavia compete in basketball to flag football to every single sport now, Vestavia is going to be competitive. And the same with Auburn High. Auburn High and 7A girls track and field finished second, right behind Hoover, who won their umpteenth state championship in a row. You want to talk about a program that's amazing, Brett. Hoover High School.
Yep.
That is, you walk the halls and you see all the pictures up of state champions, and you think
I've been there.
Football is not just football.
It's track and field.
It's every sport.
Yeah.
Basketball now, what have they won 3 in a row, girls and boys?
Well, boys, I think girls have won more than that in a row.
Boys have
won 3. I think girls may have won 5. I'm not. Don't hold me to that. So
no, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's 5 and 3 on that. Let's get to our next break here on the show. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion. A lot of college to talk about as well. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here in hour number 1. Just wrapping up the soccer championships. And like we said, 7A girls, Vestavia and Auburn today, 6A boys, Southside and Spanish Fort. And then, of course, 6A girls and boys, Mountain Brook and Briarwood on the girls' side, and Oak Mountain and Montgomery Academy on the boys' side and 7A. So that is those are the matchups for today. I know it's a little nasty outside as far as the weather, but hopefully they can get all that in. We'll shift over to talk a little bit about baseball too, but spring practice, and hopefully we can get Coach Johnson on with us maybe next week to talk after spring is over. A lot of great things going on with Benjamin Russell and spring football practice. If you haven't been, they'll practice again this week up on the hill, and the weather has allowed them to be out every day. So they'll go Monday through Thursday again, and then they'll have a spring game on Friday at 6 o'clock. So it's going to be a fun day. At 4:30, they'll have an alumni game. They've already broken those two teams up, maroon and white, and it's kind of open for whoever wants to participate in that. They're encouraging people to come back, former players to get involved in that. So if you're out there and you want to play, contact. You could the post is out there on BRHS Wildcat Football, and again, it's cool to see a lot of guys come back and be part of the events that we have going on here. But just such a positive vibe going on right here with our football program, and I've been very impressed at practice this week and seeing what. Just again, you got to think it's spring football practice, and they really haven't done much together. And there's a lot of new people here, coaches and players. And man, they came out really day one and looked like they'd been practicing for, about a month. I mean, and I know Coach Johnson's like, man, what are you watching? Coaches look at it differently than us bystanders over there, because I know he's nitpicking every little thing. But I'm just saying from an organizational standpoint and the flow of practice and people knowing what to do and I mean, the actual plays weren't perfect. I mean, there's a lot to work on. I'm talking about the structure of the practice and knowing when to rotate and knowing who's doing. There's no standing around. Everybody's active. Everybody's in a group doing something. Everybody's getting coached up. It's just really good to see.
Well, the thing that really hit me, and having been around some very, very good coaches and know how they structure football practices, probably more important than the Sedarians and the pre-years and what's going on with Spivey, is what's going on with the bottom half of your roster. I mean, are you coaching them up? Is the 9th grader that's coming up to the 10th grade learning some football, or is he sitting over there watching those guys go through the motions and practice and really not getting pushed to learn anything? And the really, really good coaches realize that those guys in their first time up there, first off, there's probably some jitters. And I am speaking. I've got a nephew that's going to be a 10th grader next year, so it is a little bit more home. But I've also been one of those guys before that in the 9th grade going over there for the first time. It's a little eye-opening, Brett. And, are you getting any attention? If you don't get attention paid to you, then you tend to veer off track and not want to be up there. And you realize that you're not even giving. I mean, kids are smarter than we give them credit for. And if you're not getting any better with the time that you're spending at something, more than likely you're going to find something else to do with your time. And so I'm getting somewhere with this. I mean, I watch what's going on with the guys that aren't the A-list guys, and are the others getting coached up. And I can say without a doubt that they are. I mean, they're getting pushed. They're learning football. And they're showing a little bit of attention to them, knowing that, once the Sedarian Morgans are gone, who's the next one? And if you're running a really good program, you're thinking that way. It's not that you're not happy to have the number one recruit in the state. We talk about him all the time. I love talking about him. He's a wonderful kid from a wonderful family, and I hope he goes and gets everything he's got coming to him. But I told an Auburn coach that was up here on Monday watching practice that I thank him for coming up there, and don't just, veer your eyes all towards number one over there who's special. I mean, look around. There's 5 or 6 more. I think that if you watch them long enough, you'll realize they've got a chance to open your eyes in the next few years too. And so it's, all tides rise with great leadership, and all tides rise also with great players, because those eyeballs that are watching him tend to find others, and you never know where those others. I told the story with Luke this week on Locked on Bama, Brett, and I'll tell it here just because I don't know that we've talked about it a lot, but Terrell Owens was one of those. He had a teammate of his that already had a scholarship offer to UTC, and they were over to watch him, and he had a great night that night, and he didn't have an offer so far, and he ends up with an offer, and the teammate of his had a great college career but didn't have it to the level that T.O. did.
Right.
And all of that was based off of a coach who wasn't necessarily recruiting him, being over there and seeing something special in him that he wouldn't have seen if it wouldn't have been for that teammate that was out there. So the more that the coaches show up, the better for everybody involved.
No doubt. I mean, when you have a great player like Sedarian, and we've had a lot of great players around here, they generate the attention because people want them, but then they do. It brings attention to other guys that may not, maybe underclassmen or whatever. Or you may have a kid that's going into their senior year that nobody's really talked about or heard, or maybe they haven't been to a camp or whatever. And the coach goes, man, I'm about to call so-and-so back at, our school and tell them about this defensive lineman or about this cornerback or about this safety. I mean, because let's be honest, Elijah Johnson is a kid that played quarterback this past year for us and had a good year, but now he's full-time safety. And man, he's playing well right now, and he's going to be great this year. And we saw him play a little safety last year, and when he was back there, he did great things in very limited action. Well, there's no film on him right now, really, at safety. There's about to be a bunch on film on him, and there's going to be him going to 7-on-7s this summer and playing that position. And people are going to go, who is this guy? You don't ever know when a kid moves a position and changes some things up. I had a talk with somebody the other day about their kid moving positions. And there was a coach, and I'll tell this story before we go to our next break. The coach told him, said, man, he looks great there. Where's the film on him? We don't see any film. And they're like, well, he just moved to that position. And they're like, oh, well, that explains everything. So now they've got him on their radar because he's moved positions. He looks the part. They watched him practice a little bit, and they're going, yeah, he's definitely a guy that can play at the next level at that position. They just got to see more of him. And so you don't know how many times that happens out there in a kid moving around, moving position. Maybe he had to play, quarterback like Elijah did because that was the best guy on the team to play quarterback. Maybe that wasn't the position that he necessarily either wanted to play or was going to be the position to take him to the next level. But now he's already gotten offers at safety back there, and he's going to get a lot more because there's going to be more film and stuff. So that's how that works. And if you've got a lot of guys hanging around your program, that's just more opportunities for all your kids involved to showcase and shine and show what they got. All right, let's get to our next break. Last break here in the first hour. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Us Auto Sales. At DLR Us, we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama, 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down with the approval of credit. We make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Everyone, I didn't give you a good cue there, Russ, my bad. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating in there. I'm too busy reading your comment to come back correctly. He played at Mississippi State, and, you know, in high school, it's like he just said, he said, believe me, if you know there's a scout over there, if there's anything about you, you pick it up a notch. You know, it's not you don't want to say I'm not going out here coaching, playing hard every day, but if there's nobody over there on a Thursday afternoon, you're ready to go to the house, you may not be as intense on the 40th snap of the afternoon as you were on the first. But if there's a college scout over there and you're trying to impress and you're wanting to get that, you want to get maybe a scholarship offer, maybe not just from him, but somebody else, you pick it up a notch, man.
Well, he came through Sylacauga High School at a tremendous time for that program, winning state championships, competing up and down class. They had a running back in Randy Billingsley that went on to great things at Alabama. So a lot of eyeballs were around Russ in that group during that stretch. So it helps. I mean, it helps to have a premier talent around you, and it usually gives you an opportunity to be seen too.
No doubt about it. We appreciate the kind words too, man. Yeah, we've been doing it a long time. There's a lot that can say that now. There's some that can, I mean, they're getting on up in age that have been out since we started this thing. So, yeah, we appreciate it.
I was looking down that alumni listing.
Can you help us a little bit? I mean, you ain't got to say some. The whole thing for 25 years. I mean,
I was looking down that alumni game. There's an alumni flag football game next week,
which is going to be fun, by the way.
It'll be fun, but there's not a human in it, and any of them that are in it that are older than 27 or 28 years old shouldn't be in it.
They have no business being in it.
Like they're going to be exposed. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, hell, the only ones playing in it are ones that we've called in the last 7 or 8 years. I mean,
no, it's the truth.
Like, where's this kid?
Well, I think it's also smart that people our age know that if you go out there, you're probably going to blow a knee out. And you really don't need to line up against Malcolm Simmons. And you probably don't need to be trying to cover Tyree Gray. So it's like, I think there's probably a lot that wanted to be part of it. I really do. When they saw it, until they saw some of these rosters coming out, and they're like, no, because I even asked Braden. I'm like, where's your name at? He's like, man, are you kidding?
Well, and
he said, I'm not going out there with them. He's like, man, I can't stay with those guys.
Yeah, well, Braden's of the age that he has no excuse. I'm saying that the ones that you and I covered, I'm saying like.
But he's even saying, I can't stay with those guys that are out there.
Well, no, he can't. But he can't solely from an athleticism standpoint.
Right,
I'm sorry, Braden. But it's not because he's gotten old and decrepit.
Oh, no.
Now, the rest of us have gotten old and decrepit. And so I'm going back to the first few years that we called ball. I mean, there was some amazing talent in the mid-2000s on some of those teams that we called.
Right.
I don't see any of them signing up to go show up and play in this flag football.
Now, I tell you, if Clay Harrelson came back.
Yeah, but he's not even kind of normal. He's not remotely normal. I mean, he's in better shape today than he was.
Yeah, Mr.
when he was
Olympia.
18.
I'm really shocked that I didn't see him down there. I mean, would love to see him come back and quarterback. Like if we saw him on one side quarterbacking and Tyree on the other side quarterbacking, and I'm enjoying the banter back and forth between the players online, because Chris and Malcolm pretty much when the rosters came out, they said, well, this is over. And they're taking shots at, they're like, if you want to bet on the Maroon team, just bet on a loser and just go ahead and write it down. And as I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, this team, I'm not going to say which one, but I'm like, man, this team over here, pretty good. But this team over here, it's like, buddy, I hope y'all got somebody else that y'all bringing in. So, but it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of talking back and forth. And that game starts at 4:30 on Friday, before the spring game starts at 6. I think our kids are going to want to watch that as much as anybody. I mean, I know they're going to be excited to play in the spring game, but they're going to be sitting over here watching to see what happens. Somebody's going to get juked. I mean, somebody's going to get embarrassed. Somebody still thinks they can get after it. Because, look, let me tell you, our brain tells us a lot of times, hey, man, still do that, and until you get out there.
Well, I can remember us thinking that in basketball. And one of the last times I remember us going out there, we played a team that were 18 to 20, and they played basketball for 3 hours every afternoon. You and I had just dribbled a ball for the first time in like a week or two. Do you remember this?
I remember exactly what you're talking
about. I went home that night and I said, hell, that's over. That thought that I could keep running up and down that court and running against 18-year-olds, it just went totally out. Yeah, so I don't think I showed back up for another game.
I think that was it. Ended the career right there. I'll definitely remember, and then when you get out of school and you playing pickup ball and, a bunch of 40-year-old guys out there and you kind of running by them with these and they over there, I'm like, why are you out here, dude? Like, I remember thinking about that going, why are you out here doing this?
I don't think he would mind me telling this, but one of my best friends and coworkers, Henry Russell, tells his story. And so he went over to Cooper Rec, and this was 10, 15 years after he was out of high school. And Henry, I'm not putting age on you, so this is a few years ago. And he said, Randy, I'm not lying. He said, I ran up down the court. Second time I went up the court, for no reason whatsoever, I tripped up and fell down on the court. He said, I got up and I didn't think anything of it. And so I just got back into the flow. And he said, and I went to the other end of the court and I fell down again. He said I stood straight up and I walked off. And he said, hell, I've never been back out there since.
When you are falling down
for no reason,
when nobody's around you, it's time to go. It's really time to go. But yeah, I mean, the brain still tells you I'm good.
Yes.
But the legs and the synapses and the firing of the nerves and it all coordinating together
is over.
It ain't all flowing the way it probably should. So, and then when that happens and you get exhausted, then comes destruction. Then comes things that tear and break and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's I had a guy, and I won't mention the name real quick, still playing softball, and he's like, man, I've been in bed for about a day and a half. I said, well, what's wrong? What happened? He's like, well, I played in that softball tournament down in Auburn. I said, what? I said, first of all, why? I said, I thought you'd gotten injured working or something. I said, don't you know that's been like 7 years past when you should have even thought about being out there? And I said, I really don't feel sorry that you've been in the bed for a day and a half, because I said, you had no business being out there to begin with. Time to hang it up, sell it. Get rid of all that stuff. Have a yard sale. But anyway, we're up against the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. 1 hour left here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Glory's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings. Come on, get on board. Glory's Furniture saves you more. We try harder in every way, so drive a little and save today. Glory's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Are you looking for a great deal on a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC full-size truck? Check out the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierras side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. Make the savings drive to Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We are in hour number 2 now. Really didn't get a chance to even talk about what we're going to do because we got caught up talking about that alumni game. But we do want people to come out next Friday if you're in the area or make some plans. Kurt Johnson, new head football coach at Benjamin Russell, really his era has begun with spring practice. And I think you're just going to like the energy and the things that are going on. And, the dance team put on a dance camp a couple of weeks ago, and they're girls from little bitty all the way up to, I don't know, I think it's 6th grade maybe. It's just going to be, they're going to perform at halftime, and there's a lot of cool things going on around the game. And so excited to be there. And then the game actually will play at 6:00, and like we just said, 4:30 will be the alumni game. But you and I are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be on the sideline, kind of giving a different perspective on the spring game. And I'm excited about it, Randy. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we're looking forward to having Faith with us this year, and we're looking forward to having a couple of different camera angles. All of this won't be in place for the spring, but we're up in our ante. We're upgrading what we're doing with our broadcast. We see around the state. We see what some of our friends put out on Friday night, and we've always been proud of what we've put out. But from a production standpoint, John Kennedy and his staff have always kept us up to the standard that's expected out there, and they care a lot about it. And it's always been important to them since we were lucky enough to have John take over ownership of the station there and grow like he has. So stay tuned. We're going to do the very best Brett and I can, and our crew, to cover what we hope's a special season in Elliott City, and we're there for it. We've had some special seasons before, and I think we've done a pretty good job of covering them in the past, but I hope we do an even better job this year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I think that's where I wanted to go with this, and it'll be me, you, and Wes again in the booth, and I know that I know you just mentioned Faith. We're what a great addition she's been to our group and our organization. And if you've seen any of the interviews she's been doing with the prospects in the state, and of course the Auburn athletes, those have been outstanding. And but she'll be our sideline person this year on the field. So she's looking forward to that. She's also going to be doing a lot of AHSA work with us during the season, and she'll be the sideline person for us during the state championships, the Super 7. So, but the whole goal is to build all of this up and to enhance the experience, and exciting for that opportunity. So stay tuned. I pushed that out this week, our new logo, the Wildcat Sports Network. And, we've been doing this a long time, Randy.
Wes has been with us a long time, Brett.
Right. Well, I just mentioned Wes.
How long's Wes been with us, by the way? I mean, it's...
I would say close to 8 years, somewhere around in there.
Boy, we're glad to have him. He really helps with the broadcast, cleans up a lot of L's that Brett and I bring in with our emotion. My emotion will probably be on high the next 3 years. I'll go ahead and forewarn everybody. Brett's already been through it, but my nephew, who I about call one of mine, about to come through, and it's going to be different, isn't it, Brett? It's going to be a lot different to call games where you're looking out there. And I got one eye on seeing this year. He's not going to have to worry about it probably as a 10th grader, not going to see field. But still, I'm proud he's part of the program. I'm proud he's going through football that's been so very important to my life and my family's life. I mean, it's not just me. I mean, his dad, my dad, so many of us have learned so much up on that hill, Brett. I told you that the other day when I was up there. I was thinking how many generations have been up on this hill, and this has been important to them. And this is really the last hurrah for that.
Right.
As we move over to the new school. So it won't be, everybody understands what up on the hill means if you grew up in our community, but it's going to change a lot next year for the good. But with that change for the good, it takes a lot of reminiscing on how good the past has been also.
Well, now the middle school will get to go up there on the hill. So it's not like it'll be going away. Middle school will get to practice up there. And Glenn said you guys should add a chain gang cam. That would be interesting for sure. But yeah, we are excited about, the different opportunities and the different look of the broadcast that we're going to be bringing to everybody. And and the things that we're going to be doing. We're looking forward to doing I sit down before the game with all the coaches, in a pregame interview right before the game starts. But we're going to be doing something a little bit different. That'll still happen. I mean, I'll still have my locker room interview before the game, but we're going to do a coach's show with Coach Johnson, during the week that's going to be aired live. Don't know exactly where that's going to be right now. Could be at JR's. It could be from a studio. It could be from something that we don't even have yet. But we're going to be doing that, and then it'll be an opportunity for, probably a 30-minute show where he's able to come in and talk about the game from the previous week, and then kind of give you a little idea of what's going to be coming up in that week's particular game. So, yeah, we're going to be enhancing that, doing some things there. So, that's the good thing about what you've seen with Coach Johnson, and you've said this a lot, Randy, with particular coaches in college, and you talk about this with Bruce Pearl all the time. He's just as good a marketer as he is a coach. Now, you can't be a good marketer and a terrible coach. That don't work. All of a sudden, that the combination doesn't work. But if you're a good marketer and a good coach, man, you got something there. And Kurt Johnson's all about. I mean, we got student workers up there now doing film during practice and putting reels together. And, Will Calhoun's up there, and I'll tip my hat to him. I know you do as well. He's putting out some really cool stuff, and there's a media group that's being compiled. I know Brindley's going to be part of that, and there's probably 5 or 6 more girls and boys that are going to be doing things on a weekly basis to promote the program, and not just football. They'll be promoting other sports too. I mean, this is the day and age we live in now, man, and pushing that out on social media and showing what we've got going on here in Alex City, and having these classes that can do this, and having these kids that want to be part of it, it's awesome.
Well, I'll point to a few around the state that are friends of ours that I think do it as good, if not better, than what we've put out there in the past. And, if you see people doing things that you appreciate, why not try doing them? We got very good friends over at Opelika High School, and I think the world of Van Riggs, and Coach McCracken too. He's a hoot, and you and I love that group. Well, they've put production out there that's really second to none, haven't they, Brett? I mean, it's, some of the content that they throw out during the week, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. You've got to embrace that it's important to you. And we'll be going over for a media days there coming up like we did last year. That's another event that they put on that we go to. And I'm just saying that when you see people doing things well, it's okay to say, I appreciate that. Right. It's not, you're not always in competition with one another. If somebody's doing something at a great level, why not applaud that, and then find the things that you want to do that match what they're already doing. And I've watched over the last few years some of their production quality and go, man, I wish we'd get to there. And so I applaud John Kennedy and, again, his staff for saying the same and wanting their quality to be up to the standard that's the best here in the state. And we hope that's what we provide for everybody this year.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. All right. Up against another break here on the show. Stay tuned. A lot more to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard, Montgomery, or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Just something that we'll shift into college. If you got some more comments about anything else that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. Fire away. We want you to be involved. Okay, they had the playoff meetings in Dallas last week, and just seems like, and we knew this was going to be probably the case sooner than later, that they would be looking at moving to a 16-team playoff, and it didn't take long for that buzz to pick up. And the proposal is one of the things being talked about, because the Big Ten, the SEC kind of driving the bus here, and we talk about leverage and all that all the time. And with that being said, they even had something that we read a couple of weeks ago that said that TV ratings would have a bearing on who got in the play. I mean, that to me is one of the dumbest things I've read, because why does a TV rating on a game or for a team shouldn't have any bearing on, them getting a playoff spot if you're going to do it the right way? But again, we all know this is about money, so they're going to say, well, that team gets high ratings. If they've got a semi-close record to somebody else, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I get all that. All right, but the way it's structured is that the SEC would get 4, the Big Ten would get 4, the ACC and the Big 12 would get 2 each. There'd be 1 G6, and then there'd be 3 at-large bids, so there'd be even an opportunity to get more schools in, if you're the Big Ten or the SEC through the at-large deal. So, it said the Big Ten and SEC could have play-in games as well, 3rd versus 6th, 4th versus 5th. I don't know where all this goes. But I do know one thing is that you have a playoff to try to get the teams in that you feel like have earned a shot to play for national championship. But this is all about money, man. And everything in this in college athletics is about money. And we'll talk about what Charles Barkley said earlier this week too. But just your thoughts on this proposed, and it's not an official proposal. This is just something they're kicking around. What's your thoughts?
I think 16 teams is the right number. I don't think it ever, ever, ever needs to go higher than that. I think any more than 16's not good. But I think that if you can't finish in the top 16, then you have zero complaint. And you take.
Oh no, there's no complaining if
And
you're not
look,
there.
it all played out fine last year. But you take Alabama, for instance, not making that 8. Now, if you make it to 16 and you're still having the same argument, then nobody needs to hear that. But at an 8 number, Brett, that's really difficult to pick 5 through 8. And I'd hate to see Auburn, which could be this year. I mean, we hope that it's this year, but I'd hate to see us miss out on what is really nothing more than an opinion, because there's no other way. But if you end up, anywhere from 13 to 16 and you can't get in, then you really are at a level where you're, and I know that we'll even complain then, but I think the reasonable people won't listen to it at that point. So I'm for the 16. I'm not for stipulations on how many each conference gets. I mean, I'd rather it be like the NCAA tournament where the SEC got 14 out of 16 in. I mean,
because they had a better year.
Well,
Top
they're
to
by
bottom.
far the better conference. Whenever they matched up with opposing conferences, they've proven they were the best of the conferences. So, I don't like the 4 and the 4, even though I know right now we're the best 2 conferences. Well, hell, who's to say that Miami, Florida State, Clemson, keep going down the list? They're not right now. I'm not having that argument. But I'm saying, who's to say 5 years from now that the ACC doesn't right the ship and they deserve more than the SEC one odd year? It could happen.
Right.
We've seen crazier things in the past. So,
I just think the more stipulations you put on something, the more watered down it becomes.
Agree.
I just think that that's the whole reason you have a playoff, is that you look at results. You need to come up with some type of format where you give credence to schedule strength, just like basketball, because we've had that discussion. We've all been back and forth on that about, if we're going to award or reward teams that play weak schedules, then why shouldn't I play a weak schedule outside of the games I have to play in my conference? So we all love these cross-conference games. Auburn's playing in a big game to start the season with Baylor, and we've had all that talk. But if you're not going to get credit like you do in basketball for going out and scheduling tough opponents, then why schedule that game?
I'd like to get out of it. I'd like to get out of all of them. My goal. You got to know, what is your goal, Brett?
To win.
To win. Yeah, to win what?
To get W's, as many of them as you can.
No, but I'm saying, what's the end goal for, let's say, Auburn? What's the ideal year? One, to play or win for an SEC championship, to hang a banner with that.
Sure.
And then at the end of the day is to make playoff. Just get in the playoff and see where all things.
That's why I'm saying stack as many W's as you possibly can.
That's right. So anything that, it's not like we're not proving ourselves enough to make the playoff if we were to beat Alabama and Georgia every year, or split with one of the two and only lose one other game. We're going to get in every year if that's the case. But why take a chance to travel across the country? And I don't get it. I mean, I like playing them better than Louisiana Lafayette. I'm not saying that I don't like that matchup better, but it's not going toward the goal that we all have in mind, and that's to make that playoff. That's goal number one, I would say, if I were a college coach.
It's absolutely the goal. And let's be honest. If you're looking at it from Alabama's standpoint, I think that's all that's on Kalen DeBoer's mind this year, because if he doesn't make the playoff this year, I mean, we all know the level of tolerance in Tuscaloosa after. And again, we all knew whoever it was that took over after Nick Saban was going to have unfair expectations. I mean, the guy won 9 games, but it was a disappointment because they didn't make postseason. And let him not make postseason again, and you're going to really find out. I mean, so it's hard to tell somebody that won 9 games in their first year they're on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat. He's on a proverbial hot seat because of the pressure and from the fan base and the expectations up there. Hugh Freeze is on the hot seat for a little bit different reason, because he's trying to get Auburn back to a point and not have a losing record in a season and show the advancement of and the results of a couple of really good or three really good recruiting classes, finishing off one class and then having two now under his belt that really have built this roster back up.
Well, here's a tweet that I sent you last night. For the first time in 47 years, Auburn is on a 3-year span where they haven't been ranked in the top 25 at some point in time during the season. 3 straight years.
That's mine in your life.
Oh, yeah. It's exactly our lifetime. And that is that's beyond belief where this thing has fallen to.
First time in our lives that's ever happened. Just put
the first time in our lives that we've had 4 straight losing seasons. So
not the trend that you want. And we talk about that all the time.
I'm all about Hugh Freeze, and I can't compliment he and his staff enough of what they're doing in recruiting, but it's a must-win year. It's a must-show progression.
Yeah, you got to get W's this year. All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this. Yeah, you got.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
This spring and summer, make your land, farming, lawn, and landscaping needs have zero risk and 100% success with Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. With 0% financing on all our Mahindra tractors, many with up to 84-month terms. Our inventory of Mahindra tractors and farm implements is beefed up, and more are coming in daily. We also have extended 0% terms on Spartan mowers to handle your mowing needs with the best and zero-turn mowers priced to move. At Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, your authorized Mahindra and Spartan dealer.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 30 minutes left in the show today. We appreciate all the comments and everybody that's tuned us in this morning. Kind of shifting around here, talking about college. We just talked about the playoff and the proposal and the things that are churning about possibly a 16-team playoff. I thought Clay Travis had some interesting takes, and so did Charles Barkley this week on NIL. And talking about it being unsustainable and talking about just having money and deciding not to put money in certain places versus others, I'll start with Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is one of the most notable Auburn athletes of all time, but he's the most vocal because of his job with TNT and all that, and on CBS during March Madness. So Auburn gets a lot of free marketing, so to say. They get a lot of free because Charles is up there and he takes every opportunity to talk about Auburn, and so that's awesome. It's no different Nick Saban on ESPN game day. It's the same deal, right? Mm-hmm. Kenny talking about North Carolina every time he gets a chance. So, look, just is what it is. But what he did say is that he's not going to pile a bunch of money into the pockets of 17, 18, and 19-year-old kids. He ain't doing it, man. He's like, I'll give $10 million to this, or I'll give $10 million to this program or whatever, but I'm not giving $4 or $5 million directly to a kid that may not be here in 9 months. He said, I won't return on investment. And he said, I'm not going to give it to something where there's only going to be one team every year that holds up a national championship trophy. He said, your chances are, he said, if that's really your ROI and that's why you're doing it, he said, obviously that's why you're doing it. He said, I'm not going to put my money in that. I'm not going to put my money toward that. So there's a lot of people out there with that stance, Randy. There's a lot of people that have the money that could boost a particular program that's deciding I might as well go out here in the road and burn it. I'm going to get as much out of it as if I gave it to that kid. So I see their point, man. I get it. I try to put myself in their shoes if I were in that situation financially and I could, what would I do? I'm telling you right now, as much as I love Auburn, I'm not giving a kid $4 or $5 million of my money, for them to go play for my school where they can turn around in 9 months and be at somebody else's school. I ain't doing it. Just not.
Well, it'd be different if it was just your opinion saying that, because you're not the one and I'm not the one giving that $4 to $5 million. But I know the conversations you've had, Brett, and I won't bring names in on this broadcast, but let's just put it this way. If you were to name a handful of people that you would call on for the money for Auburn and some other programs, not just Auburn that you've talked to, but other programs, you have got a consensus, not no, but hell no, for the long term. Mm-hmm. Now, I may have to do it in the short term just to keep our team relevant, but am I wrong by that, Brett?
No, they're tired of it, man.
Heard.
No, they're tired of it. I mean, they're tapped out. I mean, in Faith and I talked about this on the podcast this week. You can't keep going back to the well. Like Faith said this. She said, nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever enough. There is no limit. Let's just say you're a guy that's given $20 million to NIL. Hey, you think that the phone's going to stop ringing? Because somebody else now, hey, man, I need a little bit more because this guy, we got to have this linebacker. We got to have this wide receiver. Or, we got to go get this quarterback. He's going to make a difference. And it's just a constant barrage of begging. And I told you this a few years ago at a function. Coaches have turned into nothing but beggars. They're not up there talking about the program or, they will for a little while, but they've just turned into a bunch of beggars and saying, hey, I want. And it's because of the structure of the sport now. They have no choice but to go out there and ask and beg. If not, they're not going to be able to put the product on the court or the field that they need to compete. But shifting over to Clay Travis's comments, it's pretty much known out there that I think Texas spent between $30 and $40 million on this roster. Clay Travis is usually pretty level-headed. I like watching his stuff. He usually has a really good take on things. And he said, look, man, this is not sustainable. It is not. And he kind of compared it to the Berlin Wall. And when they tore the wall down and you went from being suppressed in a communist world to being wide open, full-fledged capitalism, he said unregulated capitalism was almost as bad as being in communist, because now you've gone, the pendulum has swung so far to the other side. You got people out there selling body parts and organs and nuclear warheads, and there's nothing that you can't go out there and sell. And he's like, of course that had to be walked back. And because you got to be able to operate with some types of rules and regulations in society. Doesn't mean that you eliminate capitalism, but you have to operate under some guise, some type of umbrella that keeps people, from going crazy and from society going out of control and berserk. I thought his point was well made, and to me, I thought the cross comparison between that and the world of college sports right now is spot on. You went from complete suppression and people having to hide things under the table to just wide open, Wild West, no holds barred, everything goes.
Well, I agree with him, and it's the reason that I hope with great leadership, and you can like or dislike Donald Trump, but you can't question what I'm about to say. He's willing to take a stance and make a move at something that's been talked about forever. I mean, we've been talking about this nonstop on our programs for 3 or 4 years.
I think
nobody's doing
5. Yeah,
but nobody's doing anything. At a certain point, it's like in our businesses, in the school systems that you help with, Brett, you can talk about it all day, but until somebody takes action, it's a total waste of time. And I get so sick and tired of meeting about the meetings and no action being done.
Right.
I mean, I've lived through that for far too long. And it's the reason that I applaud Donald Trump so much is because if he thinks something, you can like it or dislike, but he's going to go full force at it. And now the opportunity after giving that commencement speech at Alabama and seeing Tommy Tuberville and Nick Saban in the room with him and knowing that both of those individuals understand what's going on here. And you've got one in the Senate and you've got one that's the elephant in the room that if you put him in a leadership role, people are going to listen to him. Doesn't mean we all like him. I mean, look, you and I are Auburn fans up here talking about Nick Saban. Look, we haven't always liked Nick Saban over the years, but I do know this. I appreciate his judgment. I know success and great leadership when I hear it and see it, and he is that. We would have taken him on our side all day, every day. Well, maybe he's got a chance here to be on our side all the way around with NCAA and can be a leader that can hopefully get this thing to some type of leverage position where the NCAA can get some legislation through that not only helps the student athlete, but helps the coaches and administration all the way around.
Yep. I agree. I think we're just all long for the day for something to happen where we kind of get this thing back on the track. So, all right, up against another break here on the program. Stay tuned. A couple segments left here on this Saturday Sports Countdown.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturer and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. '25 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Between you and the dog, up and down, and me and Justin talking about Andor, I completely lost my time on this thing. So my apologies if you had to play a longer bumper there, Russ. It's my fault on that. But anyway, welcome back. We've got a couple more segments left here on the show today. Again, not to belabor the point, but I thought Clay Travis's take on that was really spot on. And I think all of us, to sum this part up, is we're all like the programs, the colleges, and I think the kids yearn for it too. Deep down inside, I think you brought up an example about Cam Newton should have got way more than the next best person on the team. I don't think anybody's arguing with that. I think people that have a good head on their shoulders know that I can't be good or win a championship if I don't have that guy on my team. And so that guy makes us all better. I think most level-headed people understand their role and where they fall into the hierarchy on that thing. But that one person can't hold everybody hostage. They can't hold an entire program hostage and say, well, if you don't give me this, because you always talk about what's the market? Where's the market at? What's the high end of the market? Well, I mean, if somebody really wanted to, some of these kids have tried that, but they haven't had the leverage. They found out really quick. Like Nico, he could try to go out here, and he found out he really didn't have a lot of leverage, and then he ended up having to take what he could get. But if you took you used Nick Saban back in the day, what was – I mean, he could have just kept running that number up to a stupid amount, and I think he understands that wasn't good. Like, I will give him credit because he could have probably made way more than he was making. But he's thinking long term, this is not going to be good for the sport that I love to coach. And so at some point in time, you got to say, well, I got plenty over here. So what are we going to do? You can't just milk something completely dry till it doesn't even exist anymore. So there has to be – I think there's a lot of guys – players that yearn for some type of regulation too.
Well, I think it'll help them in the long run. And if we're even going to remotely act like academics is important, then they need to set up some stipulations through the federal government that put some standards in place that allow these kids that go to schools, and not all of them are going to be professional athletes. A vast majority are not going to be professional athletes. But, you know, I'll say this, if one of my kids or nephews or nieces were to get a college scholarship and they got the complete run paid for at a small school playing, say, softball, I'm just throwing a,
Yeah, right.
I mean, how glorious would that be? I mean, there is still such a massive benefit to the everyday family for that to happen. And no, it's not the reason that I choose for my kids or my nephews and nieces to be in sports. I see way more benefits than just that. But it is reasonable to think that way, and to go and get that schooling paid for based off of the talent that you possess. I mean, it's always been something, but we're not giving kids that bounce around as much as they are the chance to actually go and get the benefit that it is, which is a college education.
Jim said what we've said. I mean, and unfortunately, Jim, it has, because of the way it hasn't been regulated. I think the whole gist of the rule was put in place to give kids an opportunity to make more income. I gave this example on the podcast yesterday. I was at Auburn. You were at Auburn. I was around these athletes, and yeah, they got a scholarship and they got a meal plan, but the NCAA had a rule where you couldn't go out and get a job. You couldn't go make any more money. And so you had what you had from that school. And a lot of these kids came from nothing. So they came to school with no car. They came to school with the clothes they had on their back and whatever the school gave them. Well, I'm just telling you, I've been around it. And so they kind of felt locked in, and, you know, they had access. I mean, I'm not trying to say that they were not mistreated. They had all types of things at their disposal, but they didn't have the opportunity to go out and maybe make some extra income for what they were doing and providing for the school. So NIL comes around with Ed O'Bannon with all the stuff with the video game, and NIL is name, image, and likeness. It's supposed to be the kid going out soliciting somebody for a sponsorship, kind of like a bass fisherman or a NASCAR driver or a PGA player, to go, hey, you want me to wear your clothes, or you want me to say I bought my tires from your tire store, or do you want me to whatever? And you join a partnership and they pay you for that partnership. That ain't what NIL is now, man. NIL is colleges paying players to come play for them. And they screwed that whole thing up from day one. And they all looked at it, oh, now we have the freedom to go out and pay players knowingly. So the whole gist of why the rule was created has been abused and has been misinterpreted. That's why we're where we are. You know, it was not designed for the school to pay the kid. It was designed for the kid to be able to go out and use their name, image, and likeness for extra income. And that's not what's going on. That's not.
No, and it didn't take long for it to get away from that.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds.
And the moment that the collectives were allowed to be in play overall was the moment that this thing became a pay-to-play venture. And boy, it took less than a year, I would say, for it and for the whole infrastructure to be put in place.
I mean, Russ played at Mississippi State, and Russ just said, as a player, we all wanted some type of stipend back then, but it wasn't allowed, and we went on with it. And he said, but this is so out of control that you don't know what to do. I mean, and so look, you don't think Bo Jackson and Cornelius Bennett and Brent Fullwood and Bobby Humphrey and all, what could they have gotten? NIL. And I hear things about, guess what's about to happen? I know we got to get to our last break. It's going to be regulated, and people are going to get pissed off because the faucet's going to be cut off. Now, you can still make money, but they're going to walk it back and say, this is all you can make, and you're going to have to sign a contract, and you're going to have to be beholden to that contract. You know, whether it's 2 years or 3 years, collective bargaining, however you want to do it. But if we want to play this game, this is how it's going to have to be. We know this is coming. Write it down right now. And you know what they're going to say? Well, 3 years ago, so-and-so got $7 million. Well, that was 3 years ago. And that ain't what we're doing now. And we put rules in place, and this is how it's going to be done. And if you don't like it, you ain't got to play the sport. You ain't got to play it. And that's where you got to be. And it's going to be pain. It's almost like this economy right now. When I didn't like to look down and see how much money I lost when the bottom fell out of the market and all this tariffs and all this stuff and everybody's complaining and all that. And it's like, look, man, you got to go through a little bit of pain to kind of get this thing reeled back in, because we were on a path to destruction. And if we don't stop it right now, it's going to be all over.
Agree with everything you said, and I know we got to go to a break, but I always go back to this based off of having a daughter and you having a daughter and getting a different opinion based off of that. The idea that Title IX is not part of this conversation in a big, big, big way is beyond belief to me. And so how that's been allowed to happen and getting federal dollars is, I put my hands in the air on how crazy that is.
I don't have to figure it all out.
I would have never believed that that would not be a major part of the discussion even 5 years ago.
I'm with you. All right, up against the final break of the show. One final segment coming up right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to thank them tremendously for what they do for our program. Been longtime partners here. Talking about changing in college athletics and life and things, just it's still hard to go through that area and I get sad and think back to when things were running full speed. I completely agree. We're talking about jobs with AI and all. It's not just artists and animators, Justin. It's surgeons and medical field. It's everything. And here's the deal: we all want it to be the best, and we want things to work efficiently and all that. You're gonna have a lot of human beings out here with nothing to do, and so you can't have a society where you got a majority of the people out here. I mean, because this thing's going to affect AI is going to affect almost every industry. I mean, like I just said, we've already named 2 or 3. And what are people going to do? They got to figure out something to live. So, it almost has to go to where you almost have to be a government sustained society where everybody gets X number of dollars for goods and services and all that kind of stuff. And look, I know that's wild and we ain't got a lot of time to go into it, but it's the truth. I mean, humans are going to continue to advance, but with advancement is the elimination of things for people out here to do. And it's not just lower tier jobs. It's people going to school for 8 to 10 years to be a surgeon, to be a medical professional, now that a robot can do things more precisely in a surgery than they can. I mean, it's just the way it is, man.
Well, I've served on a state agency, and so I probably know more than I would like to know. I wish I didn't. And I'm not saying it was the best run place I've ever been involved with. It was very, 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 very
I'm
far
about ready
from
to
it.
just go ahead and tell everybody what I've dealt with.
But
anyway,
here's a stat, though, that is the scariest stat to me, and I give it a lot. 43% of the working age population in the state of Alabama does not currently hold a job. So anybody that looks at an unemployment number and said, boy, that's low, there's no number in America more useless than an unemployment number. That's just the people that are actually willing to work. They don't factor in the people that are totally out of the job market. So 57% of the working age population in the state of Alabama actually hold a job, 43% don't. That number, unless you change opportunities out there and change structure and government systems that benefit, I'm not smart enough to know how to make all of that work. The thing that I think you have just said is universal basic income, and I don't know how I don't know how that doesn't happen.
It's coming.
I think that you're going to get to a point where you give that 43% number, and if that number keeps going up, which it has gone up.
Well, it's going to go. It's going to keep going up.
Yeah. So, and I'm not smart enough, but I'm thankful we've got somebody in there that's willing to at least say the real number, right, and call a spade a spade. I'd rather hear that than we're at an all-time low on unemployment number, which just means
don't feed us that line.
But back to the NIL talk.
All right, let me get off on TV and we'll stay on for a second. All right, it's going to wrap us up for Saturday Sports Countdown here on TV. Again, want to thank everybody for watching. We'll be back with you next Saturday. For Randy, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state, and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Landowners, farmers, and landscapers, it's time to fall back this fall at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor on Highway 280 in Alex City. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor has the year's best terms on almost all our Mahindra tractors. Now, get up to 84 months of 0% financing on Mahindra 1600 to 4500 series tractors. And package up with all your implement needs. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has 0% financing or up to $1,000 rebates on most 24 Spartan zero-turn mowers. The rates can't fall anymore at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor.